Here we are with my old friend, colleague, and Hall of Famer Steve Flink immediately after the two men's semifinals. Steve, I don't know what you think about, but the first semifinal I found it rather boring because the game wasn't too exciting, in my opinion. While the second one was only one-sided, apart from the third set. What do you think, Steve?
I agree with you on the second one, not entirely on the first one, Ubaldo. I'm not trying to give you a hard time even. I felt that was a pretty interesting match because Alcaraz broke Fritz. Alcaraz breaks Fritz in the very first game of the match on a net cord winner, and that was the only break of the first set. Fritz settled down, started serving well, and by the middle of the second, Fritz was controlling a lot of points, and he'd raised his game and almost broke Carlos at 3-4. Had a chance at 4-5, and finally he did break him in the last game of the set at Love, so it's one set all.
I can add to this that Fritz lost in the second set only 4 points on his serve.
Yeah, he served beautifully. He served beautifully because he was hit. Carlos could not do anything even off Fritz's second serve. It had so much depth and weight to it. A lot of heft on that second serve, and so yeah, he was putting pressure on Carlos by holding so easily. And finally, he breaks him at Love in the last game. Carlos kind of collapsed a bit in that final game. And then they go to the third, but Fritz had left the court. Carlos got an early break, broke again late, and you thought maybe now he runs the match out. But the fourth set, best of the match. Both players holding all the way through to the tiebreak. Carlos goes up 4-1 in the tiebreak. And then Fritz gets two really good first serves in. Carlos misses two first serves, and the next thing you know, Fritz is 5-4. He extends it to 6-4 double set point, and that was his opportunity, Ubaldo, to take it into a fifth set. But Carlos made a really remarkable return to serve off for 134-mile-an-hour first serve from Fritz. He was hoping the return would land wide. It didn't. It stayed in the court. Carlos came back and ended up winning that point and didn't lose another. So from double set point down, about to go to a fifth set, Alcaraz was able to close it out in 4.
Well, the reason why I said it was rather boring was because, in my opinion, even if it was uncertain and it could have gone, as you say, to the fifth set, to be honest, in my opinion, also Fritz missed a forehand that he could have finished the set. He could have gone to the fifth set. If he was really, one of those players who are such champions that they play their best shots in the best moment, he should have won that fourth set.
I think he should have won it, but I thought it was a very interesting tiebreak because it looked like Carlos had it locked at 4-1. He played so well up to 4-1, and then Fritz runs off 5 points in a row to go up 6 points to 4. So that's what I found intriguing. And also, you think back, what would have happened in a fifth? I still would have liked Alcaraz's chances, but it would have been very, very compelling.
Again, I like also to disagree sometimes when, for instance,
you don't shy away from it either.
No, but for instance, in the first 3 sets, it was just a matter of who was serving better. Most of the games were 40 love, 40-15, no deuce games. I mean, it was quite all the time. Those one who were holding the serve were holding quite easily.
But they were backing up their serves well. I thought it may not have been the most captivating tennis from the standpoint that you're talking about, Ubaldo, but I did feel that both men were playing pretty well. And the fourth set was both of them simultaneously playing well, holding their serve all the way into the tiebreak. Still, a well-deserved win for Alcaraz and a kind of a frustrating defeat for Fritz to not at least get to that fifth set.
Okay, then we should talk about the other semifinal where Yannick Sinner was dominating since the beginning. He was in trouble solely in the third set because I think he got a little bit distracted. He went down one break.
Well, he may have been distracted. I agree with you. And I think part of the reason was the trainer came out to see Novak, who took a medical time out. And so maybe Sinner's mind was went awry. He lost his train of concentration, is how I'd put it. Yeah. And then Djokovic did jump on him. And it seemed briefly that Djokovic had a little bit more agility getting around that court. He was having so much trouble getting in and out of those corners today. But for that brief spell to go 3-love in that third set. He played well and even had a break point to go up 4-love. Once that got away, the match was over. We knew it.
Yeah. And Djokovic, he was losing all the rallies, from the baseline. So
Yes.
that's why suddenly he decided to go and play serve and volley for a while.
Yeah, he did. But there was a stretch, especially in the second, where he kept doing it every point. It became a bit too obvious as the Sinner. Usually Djokovic does that selectively, but I think he felt for a while that he had no other choice.
Sure.
Because he didn't feel like he could move well laterally at the baseline, so he had to get to the net.
Okay, so now we have the final that everybody was predicting, more or less, at the beginning of the tournament, the revenge of Paris, Roland Garros. I think it will be very difficult to see another final of the same level, because that one was fantastic. I think you wrote a book, if I'm not wrong, about the best matches of all the history of tennis. And if you had written after Roland Garros, you would have put also Sinner and Alcaraz.
Oh, it's going in the next edition. There's no doubt about it. It definitely belongs there. Whether you bother, what's intriguing to me is, as you know, Sinner led 2-0 against Alcaraz in Roland Garros. He also, after losing the third, he went up 5-3 in the fourth, love 40 on Alcaraz's serve, triple match point. Alcaraz escaped. Sinner had one more chance at the end of the fifth set. Alcaraz had served for the fifth, and then Sinner broke back and went ahead 6-5, had 15-30 on Alcaraz's serve. So he was 2 points away again before he got obliterated in the final set tiebreak by just a magical Alcaraz who could not miss. So the question becomes, Ubaldo, that was a fifth defeat in a row for Sinner against Alcaraz. Can he snap that losing streak, which has to be weighing heavily on his mind, and win his first Wimbledon in the process? I'm picking Alcaraz, but only narrowly. I think they're going 5 again, and I think it would be good for the sport, frankly, if Sinner won, to sort of. He had led 4-3 in the rivalry, as you know. He was ahead then now he's lost 5 in a row. He's down 8-4. He needs to kind of reclaim some of the winning territory, and so for him, I think it's a crucial match. And then for Alcaraz, he's going for a third title in a row, and he's won 24 matches in a row, so he's so confident. That I think is the reason I have to pick him in the end, but not with that much confidence. I think Sinner has still a very good chance.
Well, just a few minutes ago, Novak Djokovic said that he gives a slight edge to Alcaraz to win because of his experience, because he is the winner of the last 2 editions, and all these stories. But he also said that he wouldn't be surprised if Sinner would win.
Yeah, I think we all. I think he kind of, what he said there sort of encapsulates what most of us feel. It is that kind of a match. We hope it's going to. My hope is that I would love to get another 5-setter. Now, maybe it can't quite match, it can't quite replicate Roland Garros, but I'd like to see it come close.
Yeah, me too. Of course, I hope that Italy will win his first Wimbledons ever. We had Matteo Berrettini 4 years ago, 2021, in the final, but he lost to Djokovic in 4 sets.
Yes.
And
let me put it this way, Ubaldo. Sinner would be a very worthy champion. We all know that. He suffered, that was the single most bruising loss of his career to Alcaraz at Roland Garros, which would have been a breakthrough triumph for him at Roland Garros. So now he has the chance to make the breakthrough at Wimbledon, and I think the way he carries himself and the consistency he's had at the top as the #1 player in the world, he would wear this success quite well.
Look, at this point, the only thing that probably doesn't count is that Alcaraz lost 5 sets during the tournament.
Yes.
And Sinner lost 2.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how important it is, because at the end, when Alcaraz gets to the final, he always wins them all.
He wins them all, and he seems to be. I mean, he won this 5-set final over Sinner in Paris, and 2 years ago here he beat Djokovic in a 5-set final here. So there's no doubt that no matter what's happened along the way, he still has the ability to rise to the occasion again. But this one, sooner or later, every great player, whether it's Roger Federer or whoever it is, will lose a major final. They're not going to win every single major final they played.
Yeah.
Alcaraz is 5-0. Maybe that's the only other that may be in the end what swings it to Sinner, is that maybe it's Carlos's time to finally suffer a first loss in a major final.
Yeah, we have to remember that Bjorn Borg won 5 times in a row. Roger Federer won 5 times in a row.
Yeah, but you're talking about just here, right?
Yes, yeah, here.
And Pete Sampras won 3 in a row and then later won 4 in a row. So the great players do make a habit of holding on to their titles here.
Yeah. Okay. So let's finish with talking about the ladies' finals tomorrow. It's a match which we have never seen. Amanda Anisimova and Iga Swiatek, they have never played one against the other.
Well, we know that Anisimova came off a gut-wrenching, tight, hard-fought 3-set win, very gritty win over Sabalenka, who many people thought would win the title. Iga has played her way into sparkling form and destroyed Bencic 2-love in her semi. That gives her a lot of confidence, I think, coming into the final, Ubaldo. Confidence that she didn't necessarily have at the start of the fortnight. So I feel like I have to believe she's the favorite going in. Yes, Anisimova can pressure her much more than Bencic could from the baseline with all that power, the explosiveness of her game.
And then maybe she has not much to lose, you know. I believe that Swiatek, who thinks she is the favorite, she will be more nervous in a way. I don't know Anisimova well enough to say if she's a girl who would suffer the pressure, but I think she has nothing to lose.
I agree with that, but it's entirely possible that Iga could get on top early and perhaps win the match comfortably enough to not get too nervous.
Yeah, like she did with Bencic.
Right, it could be, maybe not quite like that, but maybe it's a 3-3 or a 3-4, and she's in control. In the end, I guess that's the prediction I'm leaning toward is Swiatek in straight sets.
Okay, listen, I do the same, but I hope that Anisimova wins, because as I hope that Sinner will break the streak of...
and you say that because you're a fair-minded man, right?
Not because I'm Italian, but because I would prefer to have a balance, you know, to have a rivalry.
I totally agree. That's why I said that earlier. It would be good for tennis in that sense, and then maybe he would run off a couple of wins in a row before Carlos strikes back at him. It's great to have it go back and forth.
Okay, listen, thanks a lot to Steve Flink, my old friend, old colleague, and Hall of Famer.
Thank you, Ubaldo. I enjoyed it.